let's start. I always start first with my watercolor pencils, and I color in the large parts of the houses. Then I add some details that I still want in contrasting colors, as I've done over here. So as you can see, this house I've used two contrasting colors, whereas this one kind of uses the same pink palettes. This one is in purples, but this one is in yellow and green. So you can, choose to go with one color family for a house, or you can choose to do different looks for your roof and your house base. The details come in later, and for those I'm using Staedtler markers. The watercolor pencils that I'm using are from Stabilo, and I really like these ones, and Prima. So these are all the Prima watercolor pencils. So let's start. So I'm happy with the way this is looking right now. I'm probably just going to go in and add a little more color. Over here to make it pop a little bit. And that's it. I really like it like this. So the next step is to cut our little houses. And for that, the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to trim along the bottom. So we can move these out of the way. And so I'm just going to bring in my cutter, and I'm going to trim this along the bottom. And that gives me a lovely finish over here. And now I'm just going to cut out the houses. And for this end over here, this is going to actually be joined to this tab over here. So I'm just going to cut it just like this to make sure that I get the edge of my roof. And so there are different ways to cut these houses, but I'm really going to do something super simple. The way I suggest that you cut them, for them to be sturdy also, is that you don't go in and take out all of this white over here. So just wherever the roofs meet, that's the last place that you cut. So like over here, I'm just going to stop over there because that's where my two roofs meet. Same over here. This is where my roofs are meeting. And so I'm going to stop over there. So as you can see, the cutting is really not that much of an issue. It's pretty simple. And there we have the tab. So there we are. We don't need any tab here. That was just a mistake, and I'm going to correct that in the actual printouts. But we do need a tab that will glue this over here. So before I glue it, the next step is that you can just take a bone folder, or I actually just use popsicle sticks as well. I'm just going to go in and again use the place where my roof meets the house as a guide, and I'm just going to fold these in and out like an accordion. So that's it. That's your calendar, 1/3 of it already. And so the next thing that you do is obviously you work on the other two, May through December, and then you just join them like that. And you have a lovely little gift, or a piece for your office. You can even use this, give it as a gift with color pencils. Don't color it in and just, you know, give the whole project as a little thing for folks to do. Especially those of us who feel like we don't have enough time to be creative. I mean, something like this, you could work on it a couple of evenings, and it's a wonderful little piece that you can share. So let me know what you think of my calendar. And like I said, there are, you know, lots of little things that you could add, as you can see on different houses. So over here I did merge a little bit of the blue with the purple, and it looks really nice. So watercolor pencils are a really fun way to do some coloring. And when you add in markers to give you some of those details, it's really a very, very fun technique. You can go ahead and put in some stickers, some diamantes, washi tape, whatever you want to create your own little calendar. I hope you enjoyed this project. Hello everyone, MZ here, and now we are playing with the coloring page from my new pack that has these really pretty tags on it. So you can create 6 tags from this coloring sheet, and I'm going to be using a stamp, some black ink, some watercolor pencils, some pearlescent watercolors, and some coloring brush pens to create my tags. I'm also going to use a crocodile to just punch a hole. You can use a normal hole punch, and then I'm going to use some ribbon to finish them off. So let's get started. So in your coloring pack, you also get a couple of cards, and they both have original art on them, and both are hot air balloons, one of my favorite things in the world. So I've done one as a sample, and now I'm going to work on the second one. I just want to walk you through a few of the materials that I'm going to be using. I'm using some watercolor pencils. I'll be using this set by Stabilo and this set by Prima. Mostly I want to stick to this color scheme that you see over here, but we might pull in a few colors from this one. I am going to be using the pearlescent watercolors by Zig, just to add a little bit of shine to the finished piece. I will also be using some washi tape, some stickers that you see here, and in the end I might do a wash on the background and then use some bubble wrap and acrylic paint to create some fun effects. So let's get started. The first thing I'm going to do is just color in the hot air balloon. Completed the coloring portion of my card, and this is just the first step. You can go ahead and add more depth with other mediums, and we're going to do that. But first of all, I want to add some embellishments. So I really think that this gold will pop on this hot air balloon. It'll look super cute. So I'm going to put in these gold embellishments, and they're like little stickers. And I'm just putting in these where I had my black dots drawn. It's best to do this step in the end, but I just want to show you how this looks. So if you wanted, you could just stop here as well. You could just color your card in, add a few embellishments, and you're done. But since the purpose of this mini video class is to show you everything that can be done with these coloring sheets, we will of course keep going on. And I will show you a few other tricks. Like I mentioned, this step is best done in the end when your paint is dry, because the wet paint does mess with the adhesive. Okay, so there we are. So you could call it a day. You could say that your card is ready. But we're going to go ahead and add some more interest. And like so you could go ahead and call it a day, but we are going to add a little more interest. And so you can see that the mood of the card really changes with the kind of color palette that you use. In this one, I just used a few markers and color pencils, and that's it. I didn't do anything else, left the background totally white. On this one, up till now, we've just added watercolor pencils and some adhesive stickers. Now I'm going to go in with my brush markers. You can use any sorts of markers for this that you want to. You can use brush markers, you can just use normal felt tip markers. And I'm just going to go in and add some details with the markers, details that are harder to manage with a brush and paint. can also see that the marker color pops in comparison to the watercolor. So that's another fun thing that you can bring in when playing with different mediums, is that they will each bring their own different look. I'm coloring in these flowers very roughly so that you can see the watercolor layer behind. That's another way that you can play. So truly with this, your imagination is the only thing that limits you. And any kind of mark making tool or coloring tool can be used. And again, like I said, in contrast to the watercolors, the markers pop. And then depending on whether you're using fine line markers or brush tip markers, the look will change as well. So there are just like an infinite number of things that you can do when you play with different coloring mediums.